Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. We are continuing on with our ocean themed videos, and this has to be one of my absolute favorite pieces so far this year. We're putting quite a few pieces into this, starting off strong with some seashells. Now, I bought a box of seashells from Amazon. This is what they look like. They are the perfect size to get into your shallow pieces. We've also got some starfish here, but I don't really rate the starfish, I'll be honest. So many of them were broken by the time I even opened the packaging, so I can only select the ones that are pretty much intact. The mold I'm using is this absolutely beautiful Druzy Edge round tray mold from Moulds and Shapes. All of the links you need for this will be down below. I'm going to directly link this tray as well. If you fancy getting your hands on that, use my 10% discount code. The resin I'm using in today's video is the Apex from Just For You Online. Now, the first layer is going to be clear. This project took me 4 days. Lots of layers, but it's totally worth it. Again, first layer, just crystal clear resin. The Apex is truly beautiful crystal clear resin. Now, into this layer, we are laying down our seashells and our starfish. You don't want too much in here. You just want enough to cover this base of the tray. And some of that has got into the Druzy Edge, which just adds to the absolute beauty at the end. I'm using my heat gun here to A, help the resin get down into those beautiful nooks and crannies in the Druzy Edge, but B, just eliminate any air bubbles that might be here on the surface that I might not see. And then it's time to lay down starfish and shells. Let me know which way around you lay your starfish, because of course, one side has got that gorgeous pattern on it and the other side has got just a plain side. So I just did a couple. I put them both, you know, I didn't just do it one way round. I put some in showing it and some in just showing the plain side. But let me know what side you prefer. Now, I did just start off by putting some at the bottom. I did end up putting more in. I just felt like I need a little bit of something extra in there. I'm only covering the bottom third of the tray at this point. This is the beach area. The rest is going to be ocean. And oh my goodness, guys, we're also using the cling film technique in today's video, which just brings it all to life. So like I said at first, this was all I was going to put in. I thought, yeah, that will do, that's enough. But visually, I knew it wasn't enough. I needed more. I definitely needed more. I've saved you from all of that, and I just put them in off camera, and this is what we are looking like so far. I also put some I put some seashells down into the Druzy Edge as well, just to see what that's going to look like. So, like I said, we're just going for the bottom third. So 1/3 of this tray is going to be the beach, and I'm going to be sprinkling on some of the sand. This is wet resin. I'm literally sprinkling this on to wet resin so that A, it sticks, and B, it sinks down and gives us a little bit of depth. I'm hoping at this point that the sand doesn't go like below the seashells and starfish and like hide them. I'm confident it's not gonna, but yeah, it was a bit nervous doing it this way around. So I've got in some of that beautiful quartz aquatic sand from Amazon, and then on top of that, just on the edge, I'm going for some of that deeper, darker sand, which is also aquatic sand from Amazon, but again, not much. I'm sprinkling this on. I'm not pouring it. I'm not laying it. I'm literally sprinkling, because I don't want it to be too much. I just don't want it to be too much. But I'm going to allow this to cure at this point, and it might travel, but that's a risk I was willing to take. Luckily, it didn't travel too far. We've got a little bit of a scattering of sand going into the center of the tray, but that's okay. It's not going to take away from what I was looking for. So the next layer is the cling film layer. So we want a lot of resin here, but we still don't want to fill the tray up, because oh my gosh, guys, we need room for that cling film, and we need room for yet another backing layer. So a whole cup of resin, I think this is 240, going in here, and we're filling up the whole tray. Again, it's another clear layer. So using the Apex is just a dream because it's a beautiful crystal clear. But then if you've got any bubbles at all, you can put your resin into hot water. You can let your resin sit there for 5 to 10 minutes and all of the bubbles should just work their way out anyway. This was actually 20 minutes later. So I poured that clear layer. I walked away for 20 minutes to allow it to thicken up. And I've come back and I've added a little bit more sand because I felt like it was a bit too transparent. I don't want it so see-through. Now I'm putting in this. Now this is not cling film. This is the cling film technique, but this is not cling film. This is the Molds and Shapes packaging plastic. It is absolutely a dream to work with, but it's really thick plastic, which is why I walked away for 20 minutes, came back when the resin was thicker. It actually takes the plastic really, really well when the resin is hot and getting gloopy and getting super sticky. If I put this plastic straight on after pouring, it's not going to go. It's not going to take. It's going to stick, but it's not going to hold its shape when it comes to pinching, poking, and just cinching it in to give us that absolutely stunning fabric effect, that silk sheet effect. Now, of course, this is ocean, so it's not going to look necessarily like water ripples, but that's kind of what I'm going for. I've got a ton of bubbles. A ton of bubbles caught in here. I'm okay with it. There are bubbles in the ocean, and that's what we all say, right? When it doesn't fully go to plan, we just say there's bubbles in the ocean. It's all good. Again, 24 hours later, fully cured. This plastic rips off like an absolute dream. It's nothing like the absolute nightmare that is cling film. But of course, the mess is real when you are doing this technique. The edges are always pushed out. The cling film or whatever plastic you're using tends to push the resin out and over the edges, and the cleanup is real. I decided to get rid of what I could get rid of, and the rest I am just going to have to use my deburring tool and shave it off. So for this now, we are going to be using the Let's Resin Chameleon powder in teal. This screams ocean. It screams summer, and it is hands down my favorite color. It's not necessarily my favorite chameleon color shifting effect, but it is my favorite color in the Let's Resin Chameleon powder range. I needed a bigger brush. Like, who was I kidding? It was going to take me way too long using that small makeup brush. I'm using this big, fat, beautiful, hubba chubba, fluffy brush, and this is going to disperse that powder so much easier, quicker, faster, and get into all of those nooks and crannies. Now, at this point, I'm thinking most of those huge air pockets are around the sandy region. So I was hoping that they wouldn't be too visible on Demold, but I definitely got a couple of big chunky air holes in the ocean section as well. And I'm hoping that they'll just look like big bubbles in the sea. But yeah, loads of bubbles here. Ideally, you want the resin to take your plastic, and you really want to try and not get all of these holes, but it's all good. Like I said, it's the ocean, so I'm just making excuses that it's okay. Now, final resin layer going on. This is the back coat, and we are backing this in black. Now, black is the best color to back your chameleon powders with. It makes them pop like no other color. Now, I do spend a good minute stirring the black pigment in just to make sure it's fully saturated in that. And this is so satisfying. Oh, I tried to get some artistic shots for you guys here, because watching this resin, I do go slowly. I don't just whack it on here. I'm pouring really slowly, allowing the resin to make its own way, do its own thing, and get down into all, and I mean there's a lot of air pockets in this one. Pouring slowly just makes sure that resin does its job and it gets down and in, and just, oh, look at the way this travels. Oh, it's so satisfying ASMR content here for you guys. Don't ever tell me I don't bring anything. But yeah, we went for it in the end. We got it covered, we got it coated, and we fully filled this mold up to the very top. Of course, the top is still super messy. I was worried about this section here. There's nothing I could do about it, and it was pretty devastating. You do not want your cling film or your plastic to come up and over the full depth of the mold. It's protruding out the surface. It's not ideal. That just means we're going to get a blank space when we demold. But guys, are you ready? Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. This was an immediate wow for me. I loved this. I loved the way the seashells and the starfish feel encased, because I put them down first and then I backed them in sand, and that sand didn't take over, it didn't dominate, but it did give them all a hug, and now they look encased in the sand. Bit more sand, to be honest. It's still a bit dark under there, but that's all good. You can see the air bubbles and this Druzy Edge. Oh, because I put down a clear layer first, and then the blue just maximizes it and gives it an absolutely stunning crystal effect. But look at these bubbles. I mean, they're monsters. They are absolute monsters, them bubbles, like. But again, I didn't want to take the plastic off again to lay it down again, which is something you can do, but because it was attached to the sand as well, the sand was like wet, and it just would have been too much ag. But if it was just pure resin, I probably would have lifted the plastic back up and laid it back down. But that Druzy Edge is next level. Wow. But also, I'm loving the way the sand looks in that Druzy Edge, and those seashells as well. It gives it a whole other, it looks like coral. It absolutely looks like coral. You put sand down into your Druzy Edges, oh my goodness me, coral. Now, here is what I wanted to finish this off with. Now, it took me a minute to place it. I really wanted the beach to be down onto the beach, so the beach is touching the sand. I made a keyring not long ago with this saying, "Take me to the beach," and I said in that video, I love this. I love this. This is from Cricut Design Space. It's a file. You type in "take me to the beach," you'll find this. I loved it, but I felt like it could have done with something big. You know, I wanted it on something much, much bigger, which is where this video came from. The inspiration for this video came from. And oh my gosh, guys, I love it so much. I absolutely love it. And for me, this cling film technique will never get old. It will never get old. The fact that autumn and Halloween are coming soon, this technique works so beautifully with purples and your stunning coppers for your autumn. It will never grow old. Never ever grow old. It's stunning every single time, even with those air bubbles. I'm sounding like Attenborough at this point. Look at the way these colours are working together. It's just a bit of me. This is right up my street. You can even see here where the sand travelled and it just scattered really gently into the centre of the mould. I'm not angry about it. I love it. I think it acts together. It works together. But all of this is simply stunning. Now, it's not perfect. I've got air bubbles. Guys, very rare. Very, very rare. It's a very rare for me to get anything perfect. But for me, this is perfect. This is about as close to perfect as it gets. Now, I spent 20 painful minutes deburring the edge of this tray. I'm not going to make you sit through that, but here is a sped up version of how that went. And guys, it was painful, but quite a lot of the time when you're using cling film technique, you will get this messy, crazy edge, and it needs to be sorted out. And I promise you, it is worth the agony. As soon as my edges were completely and utterly cleaned up and they're no longer sharp or a threat to skin, it was time to put on my cork sticky bottoms. Now, the bottom of this tray is not pretty. If you wanted to cover the whole tray with a layer of cork, you could. It's not pretty. That chameleon powder comes up and you know, it looks blotchy, but no one's staring at the bottom of the tray. This is what it is looking like at this point, and I absolutely love it. This is the final top coat now. We are sealing that vinyl in. Final top coat of resin is going into this tray to give it a super glossy finish, but also seal that vinyl in. You don't want to put too much, just enough to get it to all of the edges. So just tilting it here, making sure it's touching all of those edges is all you need to do. You still want it to be a tray. So you don't want too much in there. This is what we're looking like, and I'm obsessed. Like, I am fully obsessed. Take me to the beach. If you wanted to, before you put the vinyl on and a final layer, you could do a wave layer, an ocean wave layer, just to get even one single white wave in there. You could do that. The reason I didn't do that is because I knew I was laying down some white vinyl and I really didn't want it to clash with the wave, but also I didn't want to mess up the wave. I don't get perfect waves every single time, especially with enclosed edges like this one. I prefer doing ocean waves when I can drop it off the edge of a thing. But yeah, so there was a couple of reasons why I didn't put a wave in here, but let me know your thoughts. I really hope you love it and I hope you feel inspired. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.